All right, folks, welcome back to the Building an Animatronic Horror Bear with Autodesk Maya series. In this video, we are going to touch up the foot. Right now, it's kind of sharp edges and such, unlike our example image has some curves to it. So we're going to try to make it look a little smoother real quick. But first, let's make sure up in the top right, workspace is set to general and then reset current. Then let's go ahead and go to File, Set Project. Look for your Fred project folder, hit set. Then let's go ahead and do Open Scene and open your Fred 7. And then do a Save Scene As, and we'll call this Fred 8. All right. So again, what we're going to do now is try to make these curved a little bit on some of the edges. We're also going to try to make a little bit smoother edge here. So first things first, let's go ahead and we'll start with this toe right here. So I'm going to go to edge mode, and I'm going to try to do a lot of this in perspective just because I'm going to be moving around a lot like this. And I'm going to select the first edge, hold shift, double click the next one. Then I'm going to go down to the tip of the toe, first one with shift held, double click the next one. And then I'm going to click the edges around it. So these four edges that connect those 2 points. I don't need to worry about these side ones, but these at the top and the bottom. And then we are going to, and it did not select for some reason this side. So I'm going to go ahead and select those. Make sure yours are selected all the way around. And then same thing on this back row. Make sure they're selected all the way around. And then these four connectors. Then I'm going to go to, make sure you're under modeling. Go to edit mesh. Click on this box next to bevel. I'm going to set the width to, let's try 1. We'll do like 4 segments. And I'm going to hit bevel. And let's see what that looks like. Click away from it in object mode. Yeah, I think that'll work for me. It's a little smoother. You can play around with it to get the bevel that you like, but for this video, I'm comfortable with that. So now I'm going to do that with the next one. Select the front, or sorry, the back of the toe. Double click, see if it selects everything. That one did. I shift click and double click. For some reason, it is not selecting this other side. So I'll just manually select it. Then shift click the connecting ones. And I'll do edit mesh, bevel. It should keep my settings since I have the program still open. But I'll hit bevel. Kind of look it over, make sure it looks clean. I like it. Then I'll do the last toe. I'll go to edge, shift click. Oh, I guess let's try and see if it'll, yeah, that one's still working all the way around. Let's try this one again. Oops. Yeah, for some reason. So I'm going to shift click and then shift click this. Yeah, there's something going on where it just is not connecting between those two. Oops. Let me try it again. And then I want to grab this one, this one, this one, and this one. All right, same thing, edit mesh, bevel. Now you could have selected all of them at once if you wanted. I was just kind of going one at a time for tutorial purposes. All right, now the next part that we're going to do is I'm going to try to do, we're going to look at this one. So I'm going to click on this outer edge at the back of the foot, shift click. It's not selecting everything, so I'm just going to basically work my way around on this outer rim, and then we're going to see what that bevel will look like. So I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, Bevel. We'll try the same settings, see what it looks like. Doesn't look bad. Gives it a smoother edge. I'm going to click away and go to object mode just so I can select away from it. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's see. Then, and actually, let's undo that. Actually, I want to do one more thing. With that selected, so do Control Z till you get back to with before the bevel, but just with our selection. I'm going to click and select the edges on the ends of his foot. And then I'm also going to select the back of his foot. And we're going to see what a bevel on there looks like. So again, have this selection all the way around, this selection all the way around, and then the kind of like we did with the toes, but for the back of the foot. And then let's try the bevel again and see what it looks like. All right, yeah, that's a little better. Okay, now let's see. So I'm gonna try one other thing real quick. Gonna try to go to edge mode again. I'm gonna try to select this edge on the inside here. Make sure it's selected all the way around. I'm gonna select, oh, not that one. Let's do one at a time, just for making sure we grab the right one. So I'm gonna select that. Then I'm gonna go to Mesh Display, Harden Edge, and let's see what that looks like when I go to Object Mode. Whoops, and click away. Okay, yeah, I think that looks a little cleaner. You'll see kind of this shading there. Hardening the edge gets rid of that. So what I'm going to do is on each of these, just make sure it selects the whole edge. Go to Mesh Display, Harden Edge. No, nope, not that one. As we start to add the bevel, it puts a lot more edges and faces close together, so it's harder to select. Mesh Display, Harden Edge. Then I want to do that on this front side of the little connector there between the toes as well. And if you ever get to where it's pivoting really rough for you, what you can try is if you have something selected and you press the F button, that'll focus, and then it should fix that little glitch. All right, so I've got that one, so I'm going to do Mesh Display, Harden Edge, do this next one. Oops, I'm just too close to it. All right, so that one's selected all the way around. So Mesh Display, Harden Edge. And then finally, I think this is our last one. Do Mesh Display, Harden Edge. All right. So now if I go to Object Mode, kind of click away. The next thing I'm going to try to do is make this side look a little smoother. I mean, it kind of matches what our image is, but I want to try to see if I can make it a little smoother. So I'm going to go to my side view. Now, I don't know what it's going to do, but we'll give it a try. I'm going to go to vertex mode. And on these vertices in the back. I'm just going to drag a box around all of them. I'm going to hold Shift and right click and hold and choose Average Vertices. Let's look at that in perspective view and see what it kind of does. Yeah, I kind of like that. Then I'm going to go to these front ones here, drag a box around them. Let's try the same thing, right click, Average Vertices, and see how it turns out. I just want to make sure it doesn't mess up a lot of like this one right here. I don't like how they're kind of overlapping, so I'm going to try to push that one. Whoa, did it join those? Wonder if it did. It may have joined them. Yeah, so it connected them. Okay, so let's just see what it looks like if I click away. I mean, it's not bad, but um, I don't really like this part, so I may have to play around with that. But overall, I think it's smooth enough for what we're trying to do. I mean, it doesn't even need to look super smooth because of the fact that it's a robot. Um, but yeah, so that's just something that you can play around with. Another thing that we can do is if I select it and I press the number 3 key on my keyboard, which will show you the subdivided version or a smooth version. If you do that, that'll show you what it'll do if we smooth it. And later on, when we get closer to being done with the build, I'll show you how to set that smooth so that it will allow you to smooth specific objects, leave them smooth, while the other objects might not need smoothing because you want them to look a little more rigid. Um, so I think we're going to go ahead and end this one with that. And then in the next video, I think what we'll do is we'll these little gear pieces and the kneecap, which would go about right here. We'll model that. And at the same time, there's also one of these little hinge pieces or gears in the elbow. I pivot around and look at it. So this and this will kind of make this one and duplicate it to be that one and just modify it to fit. That'll then give us a pretty close to being done arm and leg. We still need to do the hand. We still need to do the head, but I think that's where we'll go next. All right, so do a file save to save Fred 8. I'll see you in the next video.